Welcome to Passion Unchained, everybody. I help people. Well, here's the thing. I'm actually going over my mission statement, making it more specific. So you're going to see more tailored content that's very specific to a certain type of situation coming forward in the next few days. So I'm excited for that. It might be a little bit of a shock to you guys, the new change, since I'm going to be focusing on a very specific situation. But I also think it'll be super useful. It's going to help a specific group of people in a way that I don't think any other content helps them. And it'll help everybody. I think everybody will be able to relate to the new subject I'm going to be talking. It's not new, but like to the more specific subject I'm going to be talking about. But I think for a certain group of people, it's going to be exactly what they need to hear, and there's nowhere else they can get it. So I'm excited for that. Today, I've been planning this video for a few days now, but I had a couple other videos I wanted to make. It's something that's been near and dear to my heart because it's something that I got frustrated on once I got from Fat Joe to Skinny Joe and Lean Joe. I'm going to put those photos up on the screen right now. A photo of me fat, a photo of me super lean. Actually, the super lean video was taken on Monday morning, yesterday, 2 days ago. Because on Monday morning is when I broke the fast, and right before I broke the fast, I'm like, I have no water weight on my body. Let's take advantage of this. So I did, and took a photo with some nice lighting, got some awesome shadows on my abs. Really worked out. But as you can see, I used to be this, and now I'm this, and it's freaking awesome. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to talk to you about how it's lonely at the top. Because what happens is, that I've noticed, is when you are doing not very well, even when you're doing really badly, you'll have a lot of people giving you comfort. When I was fat, a lot of people would say, "Oh, like that's okay. Like looks aren't that important anyway." Or when you're poor, it's like that's okay. Like they'll give you comfort. They'll give you a sense of they'll give you empathy. Then when you improve a little bit, they'll be like, some people won't like it. The people that have known you a lot, some of them won't like it because they don't like the change, because they've been comparing themselves to you a lot. But what you'll hear is, you'll hear a lot of encouragement from people. You'll hear some people that don't like it. You hear some encouragement, like, that's great. Like, look at you, like, helping yourself out. And then some other people will be like, why are you doing that? You don't need to. Like, looks don't matter. It doesn't matter if you lose fat. But you'll get a lot of people like, that's great. And then you get a little bit better. Maybe like for me, when I was still husky, people are like, oh, that's great. Like, I'm really proud of you. Like, that's awesome. Like, you're in a good place right now. And I like how you look. But then when you get to above average and then elite status, I would say anyone with a clearly visible six-pack is elite status, especially in the U.S. because the average fat percentage here is quite high. But anyone who has a visible six-pack is elite status when it comes to physique. And when you get to that point of elite status in whatever type of thing you're talking about, whether it's money, whether it's dating, whether it's fitness, whether it's piano playing, whether it's competitive thumb wrestling, anything. When you're at elite status, people stop giving you compliments for the most part. Every now and then, you get a different type of compliment. Because what happens is people assume that you know. Now, of course, you see my journey from when I was pretty big and not looking that great to huge and this, but with 60 more pounds. Actually, more than this, a little, like maybe say 10 less pounds of muscle and 70 more pounds of fat. I was 60 pounds heavier. Actually, like 60, 65 pounds heavier. But it was like part of that was that I grew also muscle, so it's like maybe 70 pounds and then like 5 or 10 pounds of muscle less. I went from that to this. And you see that I've done this on my own journey of going from nothing to something. And what happens is people stop giving you compliments. They start just assuming that you know that you're there. And they start assuming that you're like, oh, he must know that he's got an elite body. He must know that he's attractive. He must know this. He must know that. I don't need to tell him. The types of compliments you get will be them mentioning that you're fit, not really to you, but in a conversation. So like, I'm trying to think of an example. Some of my good friends still give me compliments. Like I have some great friends, of course, because like I screen for people that are supportive. And so in my friend group, sometimes like when I was getting from really lean last September to actually having a six pack, my friends would, and my jawline was getting better too, because that has to do with fat. My friends would be like, oh, like, dude, like you're looking so cut, like that jawline. Like I have some friends that would still give me compliments, which I'm very grateful for. And that's because they're very supportive people. But I would get things like I don't really remember an example, but in conversation mentioning that I'm super ripped, or in conversation mentioning that I'm super lean, or mentioning that I have a good body in conversation, but not really to me, just like with me, as if like, because when you're elite in something, people assume that you know. And so I guess what I'm saying here is, if you're on a journey towards anything, if in your life you're looking to build a good body, a good sex life, a good career, a good amount of wealth, or anything, or a cool like traveling lifestyle, after a certain threshold, people will stop complimenting you. And this can be jarring, especially if you've relied on the external validation. Because I definitely relied, and still to an extent rely on external validation to feel like I'm worthy, to feel like I'm good, which is human. Of course, like it would be great if I relied on zero external validation. But let's be honest, I'm human, you're human. To an extent, we're always going to. Yes, maybe it's possible and probably a good thing to try not to rely on external communication and try to rely on it as little as possible. But I would also argue that you're never going to get rid of it, so you might as well learn to live with it, at least to some level, and work with yourself as a human being. So it jarred me a little bit, especially when I was getting thin. People stopped complimenting me, and that threw me off. And I'm like, am I not lean? Am I not improving? Did I go backwards? Like, I know I see my body in the mirror. It looks about the same. Like, did I go backwards? And it just turned out that after a certain level, people assume that you know, especially people that you just met. They don't know who you used to be. They don't know this is new to you. They just see you as you are, and they assume that that's who you always were. So when you meet people, they're not going to say like, oh, wow, like you're super cut. Some of your friends who've seen you where you were before and seen where you've become, they'll be like, dude, like I see the transformation with my own eyes. But some of the people who don't see the transformation, who just meet you as you are, they're just like, okay, this is who you've been. This is who you always were. So I don't need to compliment you because you already know that you're elite. So I guess this is a little bit of a warning, maybe a note of preparation. Prepare for that. If you're improving, if you're bringing something into your life that is different and new, and you, at some point you have to be able, you can ask your friends like, hey, like, am I really like getting lean? Like, that's a good thing to do, is ask your friends specifically for external validation if people are stopped complimenting you. And they might be like, yo, like, dude, like, obviously, like, dude, you're fucking cut as fuck. Like, why are you asking me? You already know this. You might also get like, yeah, I mean, like, if your friends are honest, make sure your friends are honest. Yeah, like, you're fine. Like, you're getting better, and I'm excited to see where you go. That's like, okay, well, maybe it's just a random thing that people stop complimenting me. Maybe I still have room to go. But like, if I ask my friends, they'd probably be like, yo, like, you're ripped as fuck. Like, you don't need to be insecure at all. And that's what I do. Like, sometimes I do ask my friends, and sometimes my friend just texted me. I texted him that photo, the recent photo I took, and he's like, yo, like, you're fucking elite. And I'm like, yeah, but I put up some lights so that I could cast more shadows and it looked deeper. And he's like, I don't give a shit. You're fucking, like, you're cut, and I'm really fucking proud of you. And I still love goals. I still want to go further, and I still am going further. I'm counting calories and shit. I'm actually doing maintenance right now. I'm not on a cut, but at some point I will be cutting more. but like I'm happy with where I'm at. I still want to go further, but I'm happy with where I'm at. And so I guess, like I said, be warned that this will happen. Prepare for it coming. Be able to look yourself in the mirror. And if you can't look yourself in the mirror or whatever it is, if it's your sex life, look at your memories of the recent week or whatever. I don't know. Then if you can't get validation just from looking at yourself, that's fine. Ask your friends. Ask your friends for that validation if you're not getting it, because what's probably happening if you've gotten over the threshold is that you've made it. So I'm just repeating the same thing over and over again now. So I might as well just sign the fuck off. Wish you guys a good day. Subscribe if you haven't. A bunch of links in the description for all this cool equipment and some stuff that will help your life. So go ahead and click on that and buy it. I mean, it helps me out a lot. I can spend more time on content. Love you guys. Enjoy yourselves. Bye.